Well, I've decided to review Bring Her Back, guys. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this because I did do an out of cinema reaction, and then for certain reasons, which I'm going to explain, I decided not to do a review. But I've had a change of heart, and I'm going to review Bring Her Back. And I guarantee you, this is not going to be a review like you've seen before. Let's look deeper into Bring Her Back. Produced by Causeway Films and Raka Raka in association with Salmira Productions and South Australian Film Corporation, the film stars Billy Barrett, Sora Wong and Sally Hawkins. And the plot follows two step-siblings, Andy and Piper, who are placed in the middle of an occult ritual to bring their foster mother's daughter, who's named Kathy, back to life. And this is where the shenanigans begins. Not to mention that creepy little kid. So Andy and his stepsister Piper, they go and live with Laura after the death of Andy's actual father, who was a stepfather to Piper. Sound a little complicated? Well, the film does get complicated here and there, and the Phillippou brothers don't hold your hand during this film. They give out a whole bunch of information here and there, and not a lot of it is always answered. You get enough answered to leave the cinema to think, okay, I know enough about the film, but they certainly do leave a lot of loose threads through the film. Now, guys, I'm going to get straight into the acting here, because I have a lot to say about this film, specifically about the screenwriters of this film, and this is why you do not want to skip any part of this review. That is going to come. Trust me, grab your popcorn, grab a coffee, strap yourselves in for what I'm going to unleash on the Phillippou brothers in a moment.
Wait, yep. Okay. Go! Right.
But first of all, the acting performances here, yes, are phenomenal. How were they conjured up and brought into the being of these actors? Hey, who knows, because we don't know a whole lot about the Phillippous and how they work. But the performances across the board here, especially Sally Hawkins, is absolutely wonderful. Now, I would not be surprised if she was even nominated for a Best Actress Oscar for this film, because she makes incredible decisions and her performance can go from comedy and funny moments, and she's goofy and she's unsure of herself, to completely, absolutely psychotic. Now, I was blown away to find out that Billy Barrett, who plays Andy, is a British actor. I was shocked by that, because throughout the entire film, I just thought he was a young Aussie actor. I'm thinking, oh, who's this guy? Where did, has he been in Neighbours or whatever? He blew me away. He was absolutely fantastic. Now, the young girl playing Piper, I believe it's Sora Wong, she was good. Apparently she's really blind, and she can see shades and colours and things and light and whatnot, but, well, she's for the most part blind. So, and this is her debut film, so I thought she was pretty good. Now, as far as the positives of this film, the acting performances are wonderful. And yes, the direction is very assured. The direction is really good, especially the direction in the shot composition of the cinematography. The cinematography is fantastic. Now, this was shot on a digital, on an Arri Alexa camera, and it does have, to a degree, a filmic look. There's parts there, obviously, in post, because they don't do it like you do in a traditional a 16mm or a 35mm camera, where they've used overcranking, which is, when in film stock terms, you overcrank the camera to slow down the frame rate. In digital, you're just touching a button now and you get this nice slow-mo effect. So these guys really do know what they're doing. Along with their cinematographer, along with their editors, they have a nice tight run ship, and the film is very aesthetically pleasing. And also the production design on a positive, most of it's in one location, but Even the house and the pool kind of becomes a character within this film. So yes, these guys are assured at what they're doing. Also, the performance of the young fella who just scares the absolute crap out of me, his performance is amazing. But this is where we get into the negatives. And the negatives here are really, this is a film that is incredibly unsettling. There's some reviewers saying there's no funny moments. That's not true. There's actually some laugh out loud moments, even within horror bits. But non-horror bits, there are certainly funny moments. But I do have a lot of issues with this film. And I probably didn't have those issues when I came out of the cinema because I saw it more in a filmmaking perspective. But now the way, looking back at it 2 weeks on, this is a film that's very hard to recommend. It is very unsettling. Beyond a few goofy moments, there isn't much to laugh about here. And sure, it's a horror, but it's like there's a nastiness here in this film by the Phillippous that they just want to gross you out. Especially with the body horror, and it can be incredibly unsettling. But here's the bit you've probably all been waiting for.
Here we go.
There are many filmmakers out there, and there's many writers who work their asses off, and they're writing their screenplays, and they're working so hard. And then you get the Phillippou brothers, Raka, and these guys come out, and yes, they sowed their seeds with their, fantastic work they did on YouTube, and they've stepped it up. And they obviously work very hard. Great. But my issue is when Danny Phillippou is listed as a writer, as a co-writer with a guy called Bill Hinzman. Well, Bill Hinzman doesn't exist. There was a Bill Hinzman that worked in horror films and makeup, etc., and he passed away in 2012. Now, when you're doing films like Talk to Me, which I haven't seen, and I avoided it because I'm not a guy that likes films about demonic spirits and satanic possession. It's just not my jam. Maybe your jam? And as a reviewer, I have to respect that some audiences will like that. So if you like that stuff, yeah, you may like this film. But in a screenwriting term, when you say that this guy is your co-screenwriter and he doesn't show up to premieres, he doesn't show up to Q&As, there's no photos of him, there's no profile of him, he's got no agent, he's got no social media presence, he basically doesn't exist. And then you've got Google saying, oh no, he's not an alias, he's real. And then in interviews you got the Phillippous almost hinting at that he is an alias, and then they call him a shadow and he's a whisper in the wind and he's in the room now but you can't see him. Well, all that to me leads to kind of a demonic possession thing, that there's something going on here, that whether they're using some sort of rituals to conjure up some demonic spirit to help write their screenplays, I find really unsettling, and that's clearly what's going on here. And so guys, overall, would I recommend this film? Well, I have had a change of heart, and how would I score this film? Well, I've decided I'm not going to score this film because I don't know really who the writers were, and until Bill Hinzman shows up, and I don't believe this is written by a demonic spirit and this guy that I don't believe he and his brother are who they say they are, I can't really recommend this film. It's so brutal towards children and violent. And look, people are going to see it if they want to see it, but I think the box office of this film, compared to what happened with Talk to Me, that had a $4 million budget and made just under $100 million, this film in 2 weeks has made around $8 million globally. So I think audiences are really kind of going, yeah, no, you know what? We got the other film, but we're not going to be going to back this film up for you guys. So also, film reviewers are really speaking out against this film. Now, yes, it has good scores on Rotten Tomatoes, but film reviewers are also saying, we can't recommend this film. A friend of mine went and saw it, and she and her fella said, no, yep, we get it. Technically, it's good. It was a good, riveting film. It was horrific, but we can't recommend it. And that's audiences. And I've spoken to several audience members who have seen this film going, yeah, exactly as my friend said. It's good, it's well made, but they can't recommend it because it's just so shocking, and there's just nothing in there that... There's no light at the end of this film. So, guys, I'm not going to rank the film. That's my views on it. Technically, it's well made. The character performances are all good. But it's up to you guys on this one. So no, I would not be buying it on DVD. I'm not going to give it a ranking because of the reasons I stated. And best wishes to all those screenwriters out there that are actually writing your screenplays yourself with either yourselves or real people.
Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Damien!
And I just want to thank you all for watching this review, and please, if you like this and you love the fact that this channel is about honest film reviewing and not compromise, please like, share and subscribe and leave a comment. I love that. But most importantly, guys, if you subscribe, you might as well tap that notification bell, because that will keep us hooked up together, and that is a good thing. Till next time, look deeper into film.